But I do want to bring in my first guest, and this is a timely segment for this as we made our way through Memorial Day weekend, which is not, I guess, non-officially the kickoff for summer. But a lot of people will be spending much more time in the sun, including myself. Dr. Rawn Bosley from Prism Dermatology. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thanks for having me, Brian.
Thanks for coming on. Hey, did you get here in a boat or a car?
It felt like I had to get jet skis to get to here.
There you go. Yes. I still got to pick up my jet ski that I bought. It's in California. My son was just begging me to get out there and get it and take it on the water this summer. And when you do that, there's a good chance you might get a sunburn.
That's true. Especially, the sun is becoming more intense. We're spending more time in the sun, and it's always important to protect yourself. And there's been a big conversation lately about the safety of sunscreen and how you protect yourself. And I'm glad I can clear some things up for.
Yeah, please do. And when you say safety of sunscreen, talk about that real quickly in regards to what? I mean, it couldn't be sunscreen can't hurt you, can it?
Well, there's been two major news stories about sunscreen. The first was that there's evidence that sunscreen gets in your blood, and automatically people freak out. Oh, something's in my blood. But these are ingredients and products that we've been using for decades, and there's never been any evidence or any public health scare that showed, sunscreen is causing X, Y, or Z by getting in the bloodstream. So, to answer your question, no.
Who starts that chatter about that?
Well,
independent research groups,
and it helps that the FDA actually is trying to bring some light and scrutiny on some of the ingredients in sunscreen. So, as people test these products, you'll get some information. You'll learn things about the products that haven't been tested. You'll learn new things about those. But what we know for sure is that previous history has showed us that sunscreen hasn't harmed anyone in the sense that it's gotten your blood and caused issues. But it has protected us, has saved us from the thing that we know is a problem, which is excessive sun exposure. Yeah.
Can you imagine us getting an anti-sunscreen lobby here in the United States?
It's funny you joke because it's almost like someone coming out and saying, okay, cigarette smoke's not that bad for you. We were wrong. Come on, start smoking. I mean, it does it's sunscreen for crying out loud.
Right.
Oh, my goodness. All right, well, we're glad you're here. We'll get into that, and we'll get into what some of the signs, you might want to just, when you get home today, go look in the mirror and just maybe do a quick self-examination. And if you see something that might be a little questionable, we'll give you all the contact information to reach Dr. Rawn Bosley at Prism Dermatology to get checked out. Because I know you recommend everybody once a year, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Watching some video right now. It looks like someone got a little bit of a tornado in Rockwall posted up on Fox 4. It was a viewer video here. So there, look, it looks like we didn't touch down, doesn't look like, but it was just a funnel cloud from the sky. We'll check in with an office here in a second. We'll take a break, come back. We got more with Dr. Rawn Bosley, and we want to take your questions, or if you got any comments like that, hit me up at 6:20 a.m. KEXB, and we'll definitely get your question on the board. But as we go to break, more sounds from Fleetwood Mac. This is Dreams right here on 6:20 a.m. KEXB, your experts in business. All right, let's get back with Dr. Rawn Bosley. You can still get sunburned in the clouds, right?
Absolutely. The sun is out not 24/7, but
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The sun is out all the time, even when it's a cloudy day. So you need to protect yourself one way or another.
I cannot tell you how many times living in Southern California, if it was a kind of a foggy, hazy day, I was like a piece of chicken at El Pollo Loco. I mean, literally, you can get burned. You don't even know it.
Right. And especially if you're near things that reflect sunlight. So water. You're in the car, you're near glass or windows. You can get significant sun.
Let's talk about that. People who drive a lot. And you see this as a doctor. Do you see a lot of people, if they're going to have more sun damage, maybe on their left side of their body, their arm, their face, than they would on the right?
There's a very classic picture. I forget where it was published, but it's a picture of a female truck driver. The left side of her face looks 20 years age to the right side of her face.
And it wasn't a meme or anything like that. It was
not a meme. This is like prehistoric. I mean, this is like the 90s, the 2000s.
Yeah, really, yeah.
Before memes were existing. But it's amazing. I mean, the sun gets through those windows. The sun gets on our hands while we drive the steering wheel. If you're old school 10 and 2 like me, instead of the new 5 and 7, I mean, you're getting...
how about 6 and 7?
Yeah, or just 6 nowadays.
Just 6.
Yeah. Or how about just completely off the clock?
How about me and me?
Yeah, exactly.
But,
so even when you're driving, you need to protect yourself.
Absolutely. There's even driving gloves now that have sun protected in it to protect your hands. I mean, this is a serious thing.
I think so too, especially if you're in an area where you're sitting in traffic quite a bit, like we are here in North Texas. I mean, I at least have an hour going home, living in McKinney. So I mean, no matter how you shake a stick at it, I'm in the car for an hour. Let's talk about kids and when is a good age to and maybe this is an easy question to answer. When should you start applying sunscreen to your babies?
Well, 6 months. 6 months is the magic number. Before 6 months, it's not really safe to use some of these sunscreen products. And most of that is just because we don't know. So we're not going to try it on a 2-month-old and see what happens. But 6 months is the time where most people can start to apply sunscreen. But even then, I tell my patients, sun protection is just better than sunscreen. If you're out with the kids, you're at the beach or with a young infant even, hats, seeking shade, there's sun protective clothing for children. It's easier than slathering chemicals and other sunscreens on the child.
Okay, let's talk about cancer. And we talked before the show, and I asked you, how many times would you see somebody in your practice and you go, wait a minute, we need to take a look at this. It happens a lot, right?
Absolutely, every day. Every day we're looking at skin, and oftentimes it's not the spot that you or your wife may say, hey, go get that checked out. And so I always encourage my patients, if you're coming to see me, I have time, flip your shirt off, roll your sleeves up, let me see other areas of your body just to make sure that I'm not missing something, even if you're not recognizing it.
I got to be honest, this is kind of funny. I did like an annual physical, and was it a physical? I went in to have something checked, and they said, well, let's go ahead and check full body. I said, whoa, what do you mean full body? And they're like, oh, go ahead and, just so you know. And I said, I don't think I'm ready for that today. Because it can be a little intimidating, right? Getting a full body examination.
It is. And, on my end, I do it every day. And I'm like, oh, just come on, let's take a look. But I understand.
You understand.
It's all about coaching people, telling them like, hey, you don't see your back. So at least let me see it. Or the backs of your legs. I mean, who looks at the backs of your legs?
It's good. And you seem like a person that can make people feel very comfortable going through that process. I was in an office I did not feel comfortable before. And I'm like, I ain't getting naked in front of anybody right now. But you should get yourself examined once a year. What are some of the signs that you look for? What if someone's, driving right now and they want to glance over that left arm or that hand, the elbow, whatever, and what can they look for that might raise a red flag to go get it checked out?
Well, there's two basic things that I tell people. So first, rough, red, and raised. If you see a spot that's rough, red, or raised, especially if it hasn't been, if it's new or if it's only been there for a few months or changing, give me a call. Let's take a look. The other thing is just the ABCDEs. Okay. So those are what to look for in moles. So if you have moles, not perfectly round, not perfectly brown, a little asymmetric, irregular borders, multiple colors, growing in size over time, those are other signs that you need to have it checked out, at least by a professional. If not, a dermatologist, at least your primary care doctor, who can then refer us for treatment or additional evaluation.
I got to take a break here. Dr. Rawn Bosley is with us from Prism Dermatology. Where are you guys located? Southlake?
We are in Southlake. We're just west of Southlake Town Center on Southlake Blvd.
Oh, I love that area. Yeah, love that area. Best website for you guys?
PrismDermatology.com.
Easy as that. We'll come back. We'll continue our conversation that. Plus, I want to get your take on energy drinks. You're drinking some water now. Good thing. I need some water, too. We'll get his take on energy drinks, plus Luke's Limette coming up at 3:45. We'll do all of that. And I'll go ahead and continue the song that Luke doesn't like, and I'm sorry he doesn't like it. This is Big Love by Fleetwood Mac right here on 620. That's a good one. Dr. Rawn Bosley is in the studio today. Prism Dermatology, located in the Southlake area. Yeah. Beautiful area.
Yeah,
I love it.
Nice.
Yeah, when I first moved to North Texas, I lived in Southlake. I loved it. And of course, you got your website is prismdermatology.com. Make sure I got this right. All right, give me a couple tips on how to kind of protect myself and maybe what I need to look for if there's an area on my body that is more prone to sunburn or.
Yes. So every day we're outside where we have clothing, which is somewhat protective. I mean, our clothing may have a mild SPF or sun protective factor of 5 or 7. So it's not great. So you still need to protect yourself with sunscreen. The places I recommend patients always protect: face, lips, ears, backs of the hands. Absolutely.
I never think about my lips.
Exactly.
You get sunburned lips?
No.
Have you ever had them?
I don't think
I don't think I have either.
Yeah. it's very important, and the reason why is because if you were to get cancer there, it's very high risk.
Ooh.
So you might as well.
I'll just do this.
Yeah. Where's the most high risk area? Is it the nose? Because my sunburn, I used to get my nose sunburned all the time.
Well, high risk in the sense of common areas, around the nose, around the eyes. But as far as severity for certain types of skin cancer, it's actually the ears, the lips, and the backs of the hands.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So, SPF 30 or greater, broad spectrum, UVA, UVB. Put that on every day. Put it in a moisturizer. Have a moisturizer with a sunscreen. That's the easiest way to do it. If you're moisturizing every day anyway, you might as well be protecting yourself from the sun.
Is there any ethnic group that is? I mean, we think of white people burning, but I mean, do you have African American, Hispanic, Asians? I mean, how do they fall into the highest risk of getting skin cancer?
So, in general, fair skin types are more susceptible to skin cancers, but darker skin types can actually burn and also have some of the same damage from the sun. And so, although the risk or the rate of skin cancer is lower, we still have to protect ourselves. The sun is more strong than ever. The rays are coming through at a more intense rate. So, years ago, if you never burned, you may burn now because of the more intensity.
But I went down to Africa. It was in November, and I thought it was warm and hot then. They said, well, you should come back later in the year. And I started thinking, like, wow, I mean, because some of these remote villages, they don't have, hey, let me go ahead and put on my copper tone real quick to protect myself. They don't have that. And do you know what the rate of skin cancer is outside the U.S. in some of these remote countries?
Outside the U.S., if you want to look at the most prevalent skin cancer, it's Australia.
And
think about it. Australia is populated by people of European descent from England, where it's sunny rarely. And so genetically, they're outside in this warm temperature, closer to the equator, technically, and they're getting burned. But as you mentioned, some of these areas where we have lots of sun and sunscreen or products, certain cultures are just more aware of sun protection. They're not outside in the middle of the day between and high noon, just out exposed to sun. And so they're wearing hats, they're wearing other clothes that can protect themselves.
I think about back in my college days where we would actually go party on the roof of our frat house. We'd put a portable pole up there. I mean, we were something else. And I thought to myself, God, how stupid is that? And then, the girls would be laying out with baby oil on them. Yeah. And I thought, what is, you get older and you go, why didn't I die 30 years ago?
Essentially just on a giant skillet.
Yes. I'm a giant. Yeah. Do you think as a culture, though, we're more aware of the damages from the sun?
Absolutely.
Like tanning beds. Why in the world would anybody get in a tanning bed right now?
Right. It's the same premise with the aluminum foil and the baby oil. I mean, if I had
your aluminum foil,
if I had a nickel every time I heard those words, I probably could retire at this point. But we are more aware. The prevalence of skin cancer, is increased. The baby boomer generation, they were kind of the first ones to really see that peak, and they're educating their kids and their grandkids. So, I mean, you have 5-year-olds asking mommy for sunscreen, where, 20 years ago, mommy or grandparents weren't even asking for sunscreen. So
I would say that is one, and I had a good friend of mine that was that owned a bunch of tanning salons. But if there's ever legislation to pretty much shut down an industry, I would vote for tanning beds. I can't think of a single benefit of a tanning bed, yet it probably is so. Literally, I can't think of a single thing. It's good. Yeah.
There is no benefit. People want to look more tan.
Sure.
But there's so many things now. There's tanning lotions. There's other items that you can use that give the same effect without putting your risk for dangerous cancer.
Yeah, there's some great lotions and sprays that you can get.
Self-tanners. There's a market for that now because people aren't trying to.
But, how... So, what I'm saying? We're always against government getting into people's business. I think you could probably step in on the tanning bed business.
Well, and also think about it. It's so much more focused than the sun. It's it's not, tens of thousands of miles away. It's right up next to your face, and we're going to throw the full spectrum at you.
Right.
And I'm guilty. In college, we went to one. Buddy's Tanning Salon. It was in the back of a convenience store. How health conscious.
Yeah.
It's like we're right past the mayonnaise, turn to the right, and bed.
Yeah,
it was nasty.
Oh.
Nasty. Good-looking girls that work there. That's what we went there.
That's nice. So I've got a little dermatology we might want to practice on the air right now.
Yeah, I mean,
an idea.
Do you have any areas that you want to have him look at?
Doc, I've got a mole on the right side of my back. I've had it, I think, for most of my life, but I believe it is a little bit raised up. And
going through the ABCs right now,
I think it's circular, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
I might turn around real quick,
all right,
see if I can get in front.
Pull the microphone. Maybe he can
pull it over here.
Pull it over a little bit, have him look at it.
It's like right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you're pointing out is a perfectly normal mole. One of the things that you mentioned is that you've had it for a long time, and that's okay. Moles can grow slowly as you grow. Mostly as a kid, right? You're growing, maturing, your spots should grow, but as you become an adult, it should kind of stop. It's nice, brown, symmetric, slightly raised, but that's okay. Moles can be flat, and they can be raised, but they shouldn't go from flat to raised in a very short amount of time.
There you go.
Feel better? You feel relaxed?
Yeah, I feel extremely relaxed.
Let me ask you, and I'm being very honest. I'm speaking to the listener right now. If you want a peace of mind, go see your doctor.
Right.
I mean, really, do you feel like you feel better just hearing him say that?
Yeah,
I was worried about this. Like, I was like, oh, this is raised big time. It's like the Astrodome on my chest.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Whew. I mean, just that, yeah, you're good. So if you're listening to us right now and you're like, you know what? I haven't had my skin checked in a long time. Prism Dermatology. Southlake. Google it. Go to prismdermatology.com. I'm sure you can go on there and look and book an appointment and get all the information. But don't you think a peace of mind goes a long way, right?
Absolutely. People are smarter about their skin, too, so they look for these things. And, of course, we work ourselves up, right? What's your favorite doctor? Dr. Google. So, Dr. Google, you Google brown spot that's raised, and it shows you this dangerous cancer. So, come see me, board-certified dermatologist, to get that peace of mind and education as well, so you can be smarter than Dr. Google.
Dr. Google. Because if you get on Google, you're dying next week.
Right.
Oh, totally. Totally,
I've done that before.
Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, really, yeah. I mean, but I've totally done Dr. Google. Are you Wikipedia?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh, man. All right. Well, we're glad you came in. Please come back as we get into summer and kind of update us on and remind us again that we do need to use sunscreen. And you remember the zinc oxide, the white stuff?
Yes.
Yeah?
I love zinc oxide.
It was good, right? It's good.
It's still good. Actually, the FDA talk we talked about earlier, they did mention zinc oxide and titanium dioxide are two of the safe and effective ingredients that are still in sunscreen. So,
remember Frog? Was it Frog? It was the name of the brand was Frog, but it was like a zinc oxide, and it was like real thick.
I call it the Baywatch nose.
The Baywatch nose, yeah.
Right. Yep.
Nowadays, they're more elegant. You can put it on and it'll look great.
So you think that maybe perhaps the really thicker sunscreens are probably the best?
Well, I wouldn't say necessarily the best. I mean, in theory, it can protect you a little bit better, but it just doesn't look great, honestly.
Right.
But a nice sheer mineral-based sunscreen with zinc rubs right in, looks great, protects your skin. That's what you want to look for.
Yeah, that's it. All right, as we go to break, play a little bit more of the song that you actually like with Christine McVeigh. Go to prismdermatology.com, prismdermatology.com. Appreciate you coming back.
Thank you for
hanging out with us, man.
Appreciate it.
We'll be right back.